Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Abikela Makinde. The month of April has been considered to be Autism Awareness Month. And as a way to create more awareness, I've invited a special needs educator, Miss Omolara Adebayo, to walk us through some questions concerning autism. Please do not go anywhere. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
Good afternoon. No. No.
You know what autism is?
What?
Autism is.
Autism? No.
Have you not heard of any word like autism before?
I've not heard about it.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Do you know what autism is?
What do you say, ma?
Autism.
Autism.
Yeah.
Many of that, ma.
Okay. Thank you. Do you know what autism is?
Autism?
Autism. Have you heard about autism before?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you. Welcome here, Mr. Omolara.
Thank you.
So you are a special needs educator. What inspired you to become one, and how did you get started in the field?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to introduce myself first. Thank you for having me. My name is Mrs. Omolara Adebayo. Yes, I'm a special needs therapist. And what inspired me about this whole thing was, I don't know about it before. There was a time I was just looking for a job. Though I'm passionate about children, I love teaching children. So I walked into a school. The school is an autism center, but I'd never had an idea of that. So when I got there, I was interviewed. The question I was asked was that, do you know what we do here? I said, I know it's a school, so definitely you teach children. Okay, so the head of school said, it's an autism center. I was like, what is autism? So she now said, okay, when you get into the school, you know what is happening. So on getting into the classes, I saw different children and adults. I was like, wow. So does this thing exist? So I started searching. I started going on internet. I said, okay, I want to know more. I want to know what is happening. So that's what inspired me.
Oh, but I'm very sure there are different types of special needs cases out there, right?
Yes.
So for the sake of today's show, let's narrow it down to autism and ADHD.
Okay.
Right? What do they really mean? And what are some common, at least the most common challenges that individual with autism or ADHD face? How do you also help them to overcome these challenges?
Okay, what happened is there are different types of special needs, like you said. Part of it is autism, that's the autism spectrum disorder. Then ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental challenge that affects a child's communication, the social interaction skill, and also the behavior. Then the ADHD is an attention deficit disorder. It affects the child's attention. Now, for a child with autism, what you see in them, the peculiarities that you see in them are something like they are always some are always hyperactive. We have some that are not that hyper, but some are always hyperactive. Anytime autism does not show on the face, so you might not see them when you might not notice them when you see them. Unless you stay with them for some minutes, that's when you start seeing them exhibit some behaviors. They can be lining up objects. They can be touching from one end to the other of the wall. They can be staring at maybe light or just be twirling their eyes. They can be doing so. There are some things that they will be doing. You know that, oh, this thing is not what a child of their age should be doing. Then the ADHD, for a child or an adult that is on ADHD, that has ADHD, you see them, they can't sit still the way I'm sitting. They can't stay in line. The same thing goes for a child that is on the autism spectrum. When you have a queue and you tell them to line up, they can't stay there. They will move out of that queue. They are not organized. That's one thing about ADHD too. They are not organized. They like doing their things very fast and done and all that. Then the attention, and they are always hyperactive. They are always like, that's why you have it there, attention deficit. That's one. Then hyperactivity disorder. they have attention deficit, then they are always hyperactive. And the challenges that they face for children and adults on the autism spectrum disorder, they don't socialize. They they prefer to play alone. They don't mingle with others. Like other kids or adults that we have, maybe siblings at home, they would like to play with them. They like to play alone. If they are playing with any object or any materials, they like to line it up. Just do their own things in a stereotypic way. They don't like changes. They go one way. There was an adult then that I know of. The adult will always, if he wants to come through the door, and let's say he's coming in and the door is opened, he knows that the door was meant to be closed. He will open it. And if he meets the door open, he prefers to come inside. He will shut the door, then go back outside, do the right thing, close the door, make sure he shut the door, then he will be the one to open it. That's the stereotypic way. He knows that that's how the thing is being done. You don't change their routine. The routine is there, so you don't change it. Then the same goes for children. They can see a light, they can see the light and start twirling their eyes like this. They can touch one, and some too have behavioral issues like head banging when they are angry. Instead of them, behavior comes with a child unable to express his or herself. If a child is not able to express his or herself, the child tends to have behavioral issues. So it can lead to end banging. Instead of them to tell you, oh, I want this, or try to communicate their needs, they are very angry. They start banging their head, and some might have sensory issues. Because some sensory issue, they might be sensitive to touch. They don't allow you to touch them. They might be sensitive to noise. That's why you see some covering their ears. Whenever they are in a very noisy environment, they don't know how to tell you that place is disturbing me. I can't stay here. What they do is to cover their ears. And some, when you give them something to eat, instead of them eating that thing first, they prefer to smell it. So those are the challenges. And
how do you help them overcome?
Okay, so how we help them to overcome the challenges is that when you know the kind of challenge that they have, let's say, okay, let me give you an example for someone that cannot socialize. So we work more in the group setting. We work more. That's why working with a child in the school is very good, and also other social gatherings, maybe like the park. So you work when you're working with them, you can do group activity, let them greet, let them do turn-taking activities. As time goes on, you start seeing them trying to mingle with those kids or adults, trying to work. So that is how we help them. So then for children, for attention, you look for, there are millions of activities that can build attention. One is picking up balls from one end to the other. So when the child starts doing that, then you see the attention increasing. They can fill bottles, series of attention building activities. Then for expressive language skill, we start teaching. If a child, we know that, oh, this child must eat. The child must eat. So what do? We start labeling those things, series of things around them, food, and whatever the child wants again, maybe wee, poo, shoe. So we start labeling things around them. So anytime the child wants that thing, instead of the child just taking our hand there and we giving it to the child, we tell the child to label. Since we have already been labeling to the child, then we tell the child to label, or we ask, what do you want? Then we label it, then the child gets it. So that's how.
Well, from your experiences so far, what strategies have you found most effective in supporting individuals with autism? Probably in their classrooms or any other.
Okay. What happens is strategies differs. It depends on the child. One size does not fit all. So children has different way. So I can't really say this is one strategy. But part of the strategies that I use multisensory approach. Multisensory has to do with all their senses, using all their senses to learn. Like touching, anything that you want to give them, make them touch it, make them see it, make them feel it. And also there are some edibles. If you want to teach edibles, let them eat it. And so if they are not going to learn through this, they will learn through this. So multisensory approach. And there are also things we use play method. It depends. That's why I said it depends on the child. There are some children that will not, you can't use the multi-sense, you can't use an approach for why you can use the approach that you cannot use on a kid with the other one, and it will work very well. So there are different approaches, different.
But for parents and caregivers, do you have any approach that you do, or any kind of support or encouragement or training that you give to them that enables them to like help their children at home when you are not there?
Okay, for parents, what we do is open therapy. Anything that we want to do, we make sure it's open to parents. We don't just work and it ends there. The parent has to continue. So that's why if I want to start any work with any parent, I will ask the parent. The question I ask parents, are you ready? And the parent will be like, ready for what? Are you ready to work with me? Because anything I do with a child, if you don't continue at home, it stops there. The child spends most of the time with either you or the class teacher. So that's why we do open therapy. So anything that we are doing, resources, anything, that's why it's good for the parent to get anything we are using at home so that the child can use it. So any approaches or anything that we use, the parent continues at home. The same thing goes to the caregivers. And one thing I will always tell parents is anything you're doing, don't because we know that parents are always, their expectations are always high, but we have to take it from the lowest to the highest. So what we do is that anything we are doing, be patient with it. Rome was not built in a day. It takes time. Some children, when you start, before 3 weeks, they spring up. Why some we keep storing? The day they will bring it, I'll be like, wow, is this what I've been doing? So that's why you have to be patient. Anything you're doing, keep doing it and keep praying. Make sure anything you're given to do it. And if you don't understand anything, contact the therapist. The therapist should always be open to receive any complaint, any question from you.
So that's so informative. But this is the thing. Are there any misconceptions about autism? And if yes, what are the most common misconceptions out there? How do you help them address all these misconceptions?
Okay. Now there are series of misconceptions out there. Like and the most common one would be like, oh, leave the child. The child is just acting like no, the child is just like those on the ADHD. So they will be like, oh, leave them. They will outgrow it. You spoil them. You don't discipline them and all that. And for those on the autism spectrum disorder, you know that the kind of behavior they exhibit, they'll be like, is this one a witch? Is this one from the spirit? Is this one this? Is this one that? So they term them like Ogbanje or something like that. We need to do deliverance. If you do after deliverance, you see that we'll be out of it and all that. I remember there was a parent then. The child wasn't talking at 4. So she went to a place. When she fed me back, she was like, I was told not to bother again. No, I'm just stressing myself. So what? You're stressing yourself? This child is 4 years. And what we're doing, you can see that he's ready to do it. Just that he's still storing. She said no, that the woman she met there said she talked at 6 years. So these are the things that parents are getting from outside. So what works for, if you talk at 6 years, does not mean that somebody else might do that. And you're seeing some signs. There are signs of autism. You're seeing it. Somebody has already told you that, oh, this is a sign of autism. And you're still saying no. And there's some parents that they live in denial. They know that this is what is wrong with a child, but they don't want to accept it. Some will tell you, God forbid, I will never have a child with autism. Don't even tell me that. Don't do this, don't do that. So my advice to such parents is that what we do is that anytime I'm called to see a child, if I get to the child, try to check. I don't diagnose. I don't have the license to diagnose. Doctors do that. Psychologists do that. So anytime I'm called to see a parent and I've observed the child, I will try to check because there are some signs of autism there. So after seeing the signs, we'll try to go online. I won't just say this is what is wrong because I don't label a child. Oh, these are what we're saying. Can we go online and check? And when we check, oh, can you see he's exhibiting this? Can you please take him for a proper diagnosis? There are some parents that will be like, they won't go. They know that that is wrong. They've known. So they are ready that what they wanted was you saying another thing. You're seeing this and you're saying the different thing. Can we please take this child for a proper diagnosis? So after the diagnosis, we know what to do.
And I understand from what you just explained and that it differs from one child to another.
To the other, yes.
Now, if that is the case, do you have any individualized plan or educational plan that you use as approach towards all these
yes.
towards the children and autism?
Okay, yes. Now, for children in the mainstream school, that's the typical one, the neurotypical counterpart. We have something, they have curriculum that they use. That's the same goes for children with special needs. They have an IEP, is individualized educational plan. It's for a child. That's why it's individualized. Now, after the diagnosis, we do an assessment. So the assessment covers different domains. It covers the child's speech and language. We invite professionals. It covers the occupational therapy. Then it covers the academic aspect. Then the social interaction skill. So after all that, the assessment is used to know the strength of the child, then to know the challenges the child is having and how we can work on that. So after that, we now draw up a plan. The plan, now, the reason why the plan is different from the curriculum is because the plan is broken down from smaller units to the higher one. The curriculum is just that you're writing it out. You can have maybe the child recount 1 to 10, and that's all. But this one, from 1 to 10, it has to start with 1 to 2, 2 to 4. So as the child, okay, we have stages. So if the child passes stage A, the child goes to stage B till the child finishes everything in the plan. So after the plan, so everything that we found out during the assessment is incorporated in the plan. So we work with the plan to make sure that the child overcome every of the challenges that the child had.
Wow, that's so interesting. But how do you stay up to date with the latest research and the best practices for, I think, this special need education?
Okay.
And may I also add, what resources did you find most helpful in the whole practice that you used so far? What are the resources that you found most helpful so far?
Okay, like I said, I've talked about the resources. Now, the resources you don't stay on one. That's why I can't really say that this one is the one that is most helpful.
But what about staying up to date with the research?
We have different resources. We have different ones. That's why I talked about the multisensory. We have visuals. We have videos. We have different ones. So anyone, we have play. A child can learn a lot through play. A child might be playing as the child is playing. You are incorporating learning into that play. So we have different resources. Now for staying up to date, we go. That's why if you are a therapist, you don't have to stay at a spot because things improve day by day. If you go on the internet, if you are seeing this child do this, if you try these strategies, it's not working, this is not working, this is not working, try another one. There are 1 million strategies that you can use. All you need to do, that's why we have the internet. That's why we have Google. All you need to do is just Google. This child is not doing this. What do I do? Try and find out. You observe the child. Oh, this is the kind of child that would like, it does not like where noise is. Then you know what to do.
So basically, you are also saying that technology has been so...
It has been so helpful, useful, helpful.
Wow, that's so interesting. Then, do you also work with other professionals, such as therapists and all of that?
Sure. We work with the OT. If we have a child that's for children or for individuals on the autism spectrum or special needs, they have different areas too. Not only on speech, not only on academics, they have different areas that needs to be touched, of which one person cannot touch all. So if we have this, after this, during the IEP, we have different professionals that comes together. Oh, this is the child. This is my input. this is my input, this is my input. So everybody works together just for the child to get something.
What advice would you have for parents out there that are still in denial, or people that even know that something is wrong with their kids? In fact, the wrong, that something is different, let me not say wrong, that something is different about their kids. What advice do you have for them in terms of seeking help? And also for those of them that are also in denial, what do you have to say to them?
Okay, for parents that knows that, oh, this child needs help. This child is different. The child needs help. I will just advise them to keep up to date with whatever is okay. If the child needs help, there are some parents that they are getting the help. They are getting it. They know that, oh, this child needs something, and they have offered the help. My advice to them is that they should not just stay at that point. They should try to improve. There are series of trainings online. There are series of trainings online. So you as a parent, you know that this thing is what is wrong with the child. Try to search. Try to know the ways you can help the child. And in doing that also, try to relax. Be patient. Keep praying. Keep praying. If a child is not doing this and you see the other counterpart doing more, keep praying. Whatever you want in the child's life, be prophesied. Like I will always tell the parent that I meet, don't just stay on therapy. Pray. Therapists too pray. We can't just do something and expect. We pray. Anything we do, we go to God. Oh, we have done our part. Please do your part. Please pray. And please don't think about it. You are not alone in the journey. You are not alone. Anytime you are, and again, I would like to add, because some parents like hiding their children. You don't hide them. Bring them out. Let the children know that they have someone supporting them, because they are highly intelligent. They are very the things that you don't feel that they know more. So let them see that thing. Let them see that the love on your face. Wear it always. You can go to your corner and do stuff, but wear that love. Let them see it in you, that they are accepted. Accept before you can expect others to accept your child. You have to accept that child first. You accept the child. You walk through with the child. And any therapist that you have, try to work hand in hand with that person. You don't just believe that, oh, I'm paying, then you let it stop there. For improvement to spring forth, you have to work. Work with the child. Then for those that are still in denial, my advice is that they should come out of it. We know it's not easy. It is not, having a child with special needs or an adult is not easy. But please come out. This thing is here. What do we do? How do we help the child? And for caregivers and for parents, so they should watch out for the kind of therapists that will work. If you know what is wrong with your child, a therapist cannot come and perform magic. No. If the therapist is doing something and you feel that, oh, this is not what is wrong with the child, then you tell the therapist, you know that this therapist is not the right one for my child.
Wow. It's been quite an insightful and informative session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And we are so much appreciate that you came.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So, thank you, Mr. Omolara.
You're welcome, ma'am.
See you soon.
Thank you. Yes,
for more
sure.
impactful interview.
Sure.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.